This is part 77 of C# tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss sorting a list of simple types. This is continuation to part 76, so please watch part 76 before proceeding. So what are simple types in .NET? There are several of them. Examples include int, float, string, decimal, double, char, etc. In this video, we'll discuss sorting a list of these types. So let's flip to Visual Studio. First of all, let's go ahead and create a list of integers. So list of int, and maybe let's call this numbers equals new list of integers, and then let's initialize this list right here. I have a list of numbers here, so let's copy and paste them. Now let's print the numbers from this list as they are even before we have sorted that list. And to print the numbers, let's use a for each loop. So for each int, maybe let's call this number in our numbers list. All we want to do is print that number. So console.writeLine, maybe let's call it number. Alright, and then let's print a message on the top. Console.writeLine numbers before sorting. Alright, and then to sort the numbers, all we need to do is invoke the sort method on the list instance. So what's the name of our list? Numbers. So on that instance, I'm going to invoke sort function. So this will automatically sort the numbers in ascending order. So let me actually copy this loop, paste it right there, and let's say numbers after sorting, and then loop through that collection and then print those numbers. So obviously, as you might expect, when we run this, the first list will not be sorted because that is printed before we have sorted. And look at the second list, that is sorted because we have invoked the sort function, which is going to sort the data, and then we have printed the sorted data. Okay, now if I want to print these numbers in descending order, how do we do that? All you need to do is invoke this reverse function on that list and then print those numbers again. So obviously they are in descending order now. So you sort it and reverse the collection. It's as simple as that. So let's actually call maybe numbers dot reverse. So let's print that loop there, and maybe let's call it numbers in descending order, and let's run it now. So now we should have numbers in descending order. Look at that. Now, is it possible to sort a list of strings? Absolutely, and you do it in the same way. So let's create maybe a list of strings, and maybe let's call this alphabets. And let's initialize the string right at the place where we have declared it. So let's copy these alphabets and then initialize this collection. Alright, now let's use a for each loop and then print those. So first of all, console.writeLine, we are printing alphabets before sorting. Alright, so an alphabet is stored as a string within this collection. So for each string, maybe let's call it alphabet in alphabets collection. What do we want to do? We want to print the alphabet. Okay. Now, to sort this list of strings, all you need to do is invoke sort method on that list instance. The list instance here is alphabets, so let's invoke sort, and then maybe let's print the alphabets after we have sorted. So maybe let's call it alphabets after sorting. And similarly, if I want to print these alphabets in reverse order, then all you need to do is invoke reverse method on that collection. So alphabets dot reverse, and then print that alphabets in descending order. So let's run it now. So alphabets before sorting, they are not in any order. Alphabets after sorting, they're in ascending order. And here alphabets in descending order. Okay, so we have seen how to sort the complex types both in ascending and the simple types both in ascending and descending order. Now here I have this customer class. This customer class is not a simple type. It's a complex type, and it has got three properties: ID, name, and salary. And then within our main method, I've created three instances of this customer class. So customer 1, customer 2, and customer 3. And then we have a list here, customer list, so list of customer. So this list here, it's not a list of simple types, it's a list of complex types, because our customer class is a complex type. So now I want to sort these customers, so I can use the sort function. Alright, so look at this. I build the solution, Control Shift B is the keyboard shortcut, and look in the status bar, build succeeded. I don't get any compilation error, but then when I actually run this, look at this, I have an exception at runtime. Look at this, after the alphabets are printed in descending order. So which line prints the alphabets in descending order? This line. Okay, so once this is done, we have three customer objects. These customer objects are added to the list, and then once we invoke the sort, we have that exception. Okay, and that exception is basically because .NET doesn't know how to sort these complex types. So we have to tell .NET environment, .NET runtime, how we want these complex types to be sorted. Because look at this, this customer class has got three properties: ID, name, and salary. How would .NET runtime know to sort this object? Do we want to sort it by ID, name, salary? It can't make assumptions. We have to tell it. Okay, so that's why by default, out of the box, sort functionality will not work for complex types. But the obvious next question for us would be, how is this sort functionality working for simple types? That's because these types have already implemented an interface called iComparable interface. So if you look at this integer, so this int type has implemented this iComparable interface, and within this interface there is a function compare to. So this is already implemented within the .NET framework. Okay, so that's why .NET framework knows how to sort integers. And similarly, if you look at strings, for example, even string type has implemented this iComparable interface. So .NET Runtime knows how to sort strings, ints, decimals, floats, etc. But then if you look at our customer class, this class doesn't implement that interface. So we are going to use that interface, the iComparable interface, and then implement that compare function. So within this function, we are going to tell how we want our customer objects to be compared so that they can be sorted. Okay, so we will discuss that in our next video session. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.